Now we're going to talk about writing equations for lines. We'll start with a line through a point h by k. We're given h and k. And it has a slope s. We're given s. And it goes to the point x by y. What equation is there between x and y? Given the line goes through h by k and has slope s. All right. Well, there's an equation already. Slope equals s. It always helps to start up from an equation. And the slope is a change in y over the change in x. Change in y is y minus k. Change in x is x minus h. So y minus k over x minus h equals s. And you transpose the x minus h. Y minus k equals s times x minus h. And then I like to go one step further and transpose the k as well. Y equals s times x minus h plus k. That's the point slope formula. The book writes it as y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Well, I've said before, I'm not a real fan of using the letter m for slope. And here, this is really the same as this if we make y1 be x1 be h and y1 be k. But again, I'm not a real fan of this because this x1 and y1, they look like variables. They're intended as parameters. So it's potentially confusing, and I'm not in favor of that. Anyhow, now there's a special case where h by k is on the y-axis, and this is in fact the y-intercept. Call it 0 by b. As a slope of s, what's the equation for x and y? Well, we're putting in 0 and b for h and k. You get y equals s times x minus 0 plus b, which comes out to y equals sx plus b. Okay, now this is called the slope-intercept formula because s is a slope and b is the y-intercept. This is, and this is one they actually prefer you to write because it is kind of easy to interpret. And okay, as before, equal slopes means parallel lines and vice versa. Oh, and by the way, the reason why we use these two little parallel lines to indicate equality was precisely because somebody way back in the 18th century or something said, okay, what could be more equal than two little lines parallel to each other? So that's the symbol we've been using ever since. All right, let's do some examples. Find the equation of a line with a slope, negative 2/3, and the y-intercept, 0 by negative 7/3. Well, okay, here we have the slope-intercept formula. S is a slope, negative 2/3. The intercept is negative 7/3 here. So here you go. Y equals negative 2/3 is x minus 7/3. It's pretty simple. We have a line through negative 5 by 6 and 0 by negative 1. Find its equation. Well, we already have the y-intercept. It's negative 1. So all we really need now is the slope. The slope, well, change in y is 6 minus negative 1. Over change in x is negative 5 minus 0. So that's negative 7 over 5 is the slope. The y-intercept is 0 by negative 1. So here we go. That's s. That's b. So y equals negative 7/5 x minus 1. Now here we have a slope-intercept formula they want for the line with a slope 7 that goes to negative 7 by 5. So here we can use the slope point formula. The slope of 7, h is negative 7, 5 is k. All right, so we plug it in. Y equals 7 times x minus negative 7, all that plus 5. All right, now what you do is you turn the minus negative to plus. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 5 is 54, and so y equals 7x plus 54 is the slope-intercept form. All right, same kind of deal. You want a slope-intercept formula, y equals sx plus b, for the line with a slope of 5, and it passes the 4 by negative 5. So 5 from this times x minus 4 from this plus a negative 5 from this. And again, we multiply this out and add to that. We get y equals 5x minus 25. Now here we have a problem with a choice. We want to find the equation of a line through 2 points, 6 by 8 and 2 by 10. Now we can use either of these at these either point in the point slope formula, either this, that point, or this point. But now we need to use first we need to find the slope. Okay, the slope is change in y, 8 minus 10 here, over change in x, 6 minus 2 here. 8 minus 10 over 6 minus 2 is negative 2/4, is negative 1/2. Slope of negative 1/2. Now I can use this slope with either of these points, and you should get the same result. So you have a choice here. There's often many routes to a solution in a math problem. That's why I'm not a huge fan of when the book says, solve this problem this way. Well, that's, like I say, that's too specific. Anyhow, so y equals, well, slope is minus 1/2. That goes here. Let's use the point 6 by 8. So we have 6 here and an 8 here. And again, we multiply it out and combine terms, get y equals minus 1/2 x plus 11. Here we have a line through negative 1 by 3 and 2 by 5. Find its equation. Well, again, slope, let's say 3 minus 5 is the change in y. Negative 1 minus 2 is the change in x. 3 minus 5 over negative 1 minus 2, that's negative 2 over negative 3. That's 2/3. So the slope of 2/3. And, well, okay, we could use either point. Let's use this point, 2 by 5. Again, you could use this and get the same result, and you have a choice. All right, here we go. Y equals slope, 2/3, times x minus h, 2. All that plus k, 5. 2/3 of x minus 2 plus 5. Distribute the 2/3, combine that with that, and we get y equals 2/3 x plus 11/3. There it is. Okay, here's sort of a word problem. In 2000, Russia's population was 146 million. Since 1995, Russia's population decreases 505,000 people per year. PB Russia's population in TB years since 1995. Find the linear equation. Well, okay. The slope is negative 50500. That's what we put over here. Now, the year 2000 was 5 years after 1995. So here we have t equals 5. And P at that time was 146 million. So we put a t minus 5 here, all this plus 146 million. So P is negative 505,000 times t minus 5 plus 146 million. Now again, we distribute the negative 505,000 over these and combine with 146 million, and we get P equals negative 505,000 t plus 148,525,000. That's the solution to this problem.